Hello, hi. Hey, good to see you again. All right, okay. Um, Last week, right? Okay, I talked about the continuous assessment from the week one. Okay, and today I'm going to share the slides from the week one, the continuations. Okay, I believe last week when we had a discussion about the assessment, right? Continuous assessment one, two, and three, right? And I believe you all had a good discussion with your group and all those things. Okay, so now let's focus on week one lecture, the continuation again. Yeah, okay, let me show you. All right, okay, here you go. Okay, all right, let's start with what are we going to cover in our what do you call in this introduction to curriculum. Okay, basically we need to understand the definition of a curriculum, what is the purpose of having curriculum, and what is the history of curriculum and what types of curriculum. Basically in these slides, we're going to cover these four things. Okay, now there are many scholars have come out or voice out different types of definition of a curriculum. By then, in a simple terms, actually a curriculum is just like a vase. I'm sure you are very much familiar the ways, whatever Google Map or whatever. So it is like a road map, okay, or plan which helping us the helping the teachers as well as the students what they should learn during the time in the school or university. This is the very specific definitions. After reading a few scholars definition, I found it that this is the best definition, I would say. Okay, waste, remember waste. Okay, all right. So another definition also, the curriculum where includes the subjects, okay, like science, mathematics, history, English, Malay language, whatever. Okay, so what I mean, it is like it's a subject in a curriculum with a specific aims and objective. Okay, so we as a student, well, okay, we as a student, we need to know how we will learn from kinder and up to the university. The curriculum, the curriculum which is exists in the school, the kinder, schools, primary or secondary, even in the university. Okay, in the university. So now moving on. Okay, all right. So if you are looking into example, I would say in our primary or secondary school, basically our school curriculum where it covers the core subjects like mathematics, language, reading and writing with a cover of few components, science and other social humanity studies. Okay, so it is what I call it's like a mathematics included addition and subtractions, okay, reading comprehension skill in the language arts, experiment and exploration in the science, and learning about the different cultures all will be in our social studies. So in high school curricula, basically to be more specialized, allowing students to choose the elective courses in addition to the core subjects. It is also in the university, the same pattern in the university as well. Okay, all right. So again, in the colleges also, depending on the institutions, depends on the university discrepancies, depends on you which field of study, and then they offer the curriculum based on that. However, the standard will be there. Okay, all right. What is the purpose of curriculum? Okay, I would like to ask you this question. Yes, please ponder. Perhaps you could do some homework and then you share with me later. I will create one forum. Okay, you can share with me what is the purpose of curriculum. Okay, now the there are six purposes of curriculum. Number one is where it helps to facilitate the learner and also the learners, and the curriculum has educational goals, okay, very consistent in equity, and societal needs, what exactly they need, and we provide, and differentiated instructions, all right, different types of instructions, okay, and also fostering critical thinking and a lifelong learning in the purpose of Okay, these are the six purpose of a curriculum. Okay, as for number one, right, the facilitating learning, basically it helps us to provide a clear roadmap what students are expected to learn, how they will learn, and how the learning will be accessed. There you go. Okay, what, how, and how. Remember these three WH. What students are expected to be learned, okay, and how will they learn, and how their learning will be assessed with the examinations. Okay, so to cover this, we need a specific instructional method and learning experiences which we need to design to achieve the specific educational goals. Okay, all right, let's move on to number two. Yeah, educational goals. Okay, each curriculum design, right, will help to have a specific goals or aims or objective, what students should know, understand, and if they attend this particular course or subject, what will they learn at the end of that particular course or subject. Okay, so we should have a very clear or specific learning outcomes, okay, where it directs us as a, I mean, for the teachers and learners, okay, with the proper instructional planning and assessment practices. Okay, then number three, promoting consistency and equity. Basically, a curriculum helps to promote the consistency and equity to ensure all the students have the common set of educational experiences. Okay, at the same time, this consistency and equity will help the students to standardize, or educators to standardize the instruction in the classrooms or schools. Okay, and this will help us some disparities in the learning outcomes, where it makes sure all the students receive the same, all the students are treated equally by providing a quality education regardless what types of background they are, in whatever situation they are. Okay, all right, number four, adapting to a societal needs. Okay, basically curriculum plays an important role to prepare students to meet the needs, okay, of the society, in terms of reflecting the societal values, priorities, aspirations, equipping students with the knowledge, skill, and disposition needed to be participate as informed and responsible citizens, useful citizens, okay, to diverse in a in the transition of the world. Okay, and also the update of curriculum based on the needs of time. So when we can modify or adapt our curriculum based on our current imaging trends. Like for example, we are more into technology than traditional method teaching. So now we're slowly diverting into it. So this is adapting one of the to meet the needs. Okay. All right. Now, number five, supporting differentiated instructions. It means a curriculum can be designed based on the learners and the learning style. Okay, so the instruction can be personalized, okay, and more very flexible, and a very assessment, I mean a very flexible assessment in a very strategic manner, where it goes for all types of individual and meets their interests, and also based on the students' ability, engagement, and motivation. Okay, so this curriculum also can help to incorporate for all types of learners. Okay, all right. And number six, cultivate the critical thinking and lifelong learning. Basically, a curriculum, the specific aims of a curriculum is to cultivate the critical thinking, problem solving, where you will evaluate and analyze, to think critically to find the specific information, the factful informations. Okay, and then like for example, you can see here in a high school biology class, the teacher is designing a unit on genetics. The teacher introduces a real world scenario where the student must investigate genetic disorder. Yeah, so we're giving some activities in a real setting so that you can feel it and you can find the solution for it. So that's why we will help, the curriculum helps for the critical thinking and lifelong learning. Okay, now let's see the history of curriculum. I think this would be a little interesting for us to know about the history of a curriculum. Okay, all right, now here, the history of curriculum, I mean, you must understand what is the concept of curriculum. Basically, we are not using this curriculum yesterday, today, or it's I mean, years by years, I would say. And the transition or I mean, the changes has been made based on the educational philosophy and also, as I mentioned earlier, the societal needs and the cultural context. Okay, so this has been started in our ancient civilizations. Okay, medieval and Renaissance, Enlightenment and Industrial Revolution, progressive education movement, and the curriculum theory and development. So the last, I would say, the mid 20th century onwards. So you can see it from the ancient world, yeah? Okay. So the ancient civilization basically during our Mesopotamia time, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, education was offered. Okay, where it focused on the teaching skill, reading, writing, arithmetic, and moral values. Again, a curriculum was formed in a very informal and centered apprenticeship models with students learning and mentors or religious leaders. Okay, all right. As for medieval in the Renaissance period, right? Okay, basically this happened in the Middle Ages in Europe, where education was in the first place it provides through the religious institutions. Okay, and then I mean religious institution basically is like a church, a religious manner. Okay, they provide the education through the church. Okay, in the religious concepts. Okay, and then later the curriculum was focused heavily on the theology, language, and classical texts. Okay, where it is covered a little Christian's doctrine, but then still, the education is there. All right. And then during the Renaissance time was very interest point in terms of a classical learning to the emergence humanism and a broad curriculum that includes subjects as literature, history, and the arts. Okay, all right. The Enlightenment and Industrial Revolutions. Okay, basically the Enlightenment brings a new ideas for education and also emphasize how education is important and in a broad manner to think about the science and non-science and the individual liberty. Okay, in line with that, the curriculum also incorporate a few subjects like mathematics, natural sciences, societal studies, which is emphasized on empirical, industrial, and critical thinking. Okay, and then the last one I would say the Industrial Revolution, right? It's the 18th and 19th century. Now we are 20th. Okay, to develop the standard curricula and schooling systems. Okay, all right. Now, and the theory and development, I would say, is a more systematic to define the educational objectives and to provide or to create or invent a specific instructional methods to access students' learning outcomes. Okay, all right. And then let's see the types of curriculum. There are 11 types of curriculum, I would say: explicit, hidden, and a societal, null curriculum, phantom curriculum, concomitant curriculum, rhetorical curriculum, curriculum in use, received curriculum, the internal curriculum, the electronic curriculum. So these are the types of curriculum. Okay, now it seems you have already known the types of curriculum. I would like to give you 15 minutes time. You can use your handphone or laptop. Could you please go back and then find out what is the explicit curriculum, and also number 2 until 11. It's good for you to give me the reliable information rather than taking the information just from the Google. No, why don't you just go back and then find out the studies related to the explicit curriculum, hidden curriculum, whatever. Go back and find out what is the real meaning of explicit curriculum and how this engage with the education is and in the classroom manner and all those things. So shall we focus on this? I would like to give you 15 minutes as a homework weekend, and then later on, once we come back, then we can discuss in our class. Is it okay? Are you with me? All right, thank you very much. Okay, so let's focus on that. Okay, then I will continue with the next slides so that you can check your answers here, whether the answers is correct or not, the explicit curriculum. Okay, what we have right, what you have found, all this correct. Okay, all right. So if any questions, you can ask me. All right.